Good morning, I'm Diane Macedo. Thanks for streaming with us. In today's update, protect your lungs and stay indoors. That's the warning from officials in Oregon as deadly wildfires out west continue to spread. Several cities in Oregon are reportedly recording the worst air quality levels in the world. Over 3 million acres already have burned in California alone, and as of now, things are showing no sign of letting up. There are some new questions about the role of politics in reports on the coronavirus. Political reports the CDC has allowed Trump administration officials to review and in a few cases change reports to avoid undermining the president's more optimistic messaging. In a statement to ABC News, Michael Caputo, the health department spokesperson said to have pushed for those changes, says our intention is to make sure that evidence science-based data drives policy through this pandemic, not ulterior deep state motives in the bowels of the CDC. Meanwhile, AstraZeneca is restarting trials of the Oxford vaccine in the UK. Trials were halted globally after a patient had a potential significant adverse reaction to the vaccine. And we're just 50 days away from the election. President Trump was on the campaign trail last night, holding his first indoor rally in nearly 3 months, breaking Nevada's COVID restrictions. The state currently prohibits gatherings of more than 50 people. Most in the crowd also were not wearing masks, but here's what the president told them.
If the governor comes after you, which he shouldn't be doing, I'll be with you all the way. I'll be with you all the way. Don't worry about a thing.
In a statement, Biden's campaign slammed the rally, saying if Donald Trump cared at all about curbing this virus and protecting the safety of his supporters, he wouldn't hold events like this. But Trump doesn't, and he won't. But it looks like the pandemic is taking a toll on the president politically. Our latest ABC News Ipsos poll shows 65% of Americans now disapprove of his handling of the coronavirus. And a record number of storms are simultaneously churning in the Atlantic right now. Take a look at Hurricane Paulette, a storm so big its eye engulfed the entire island of Bermuda overnight. There it is, right in the center. Now, luckily, Paulette is now moving away from land, but that's not the case for Tropical Storm Sally. Sally is taking aim at the Gulf Coast right now and is expected to intensify and become a hurricane tonight. The governors of Mississippi and Louisiana have already declared states of emergency. In Louisiana, waters are already rising, and storm surge is a major concern. Elwin Lopez is on Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans with more. And Elwin, it looks like the waves are already picking up there.
Yeah, that's right. We're here along Lake Pontchartrain, and we're already seeing these waves crashing along the seawall. They're already coming onto the sidewalk. We've seen actually some people gathering here and taking pictures. The floodgate actually has closed. We had a police officer come by and say that floodgate has closed. You know, and this city's prepared. As you know, Diane, this city is used to these kinds of situations. The city is also below sea level. So the concern really here is flooding and, again, storm surge.
And as you said, that seems to be the big concern right now, the surge, especially since the storm is on a similar path to Katrina. So how are residents there preparing for that?
Yeah, so what's interesting here, Diane, is that, 3 weeks ago we had Hurricane Laura threatening New Orleans, and New Orleans was spared in that, but people had already prepared. They were boarding up their businesses, and we saw that those businesses were still boarded up, many of them not taking those boards down because of the pandemic. So they are prepared, and officials say that they're going to be treating this like the other storms that came in. Marco, of course, didn't have any impact here, and Laura spared New Orleans, unlike some of the other parts of the Louisiana Gulf Coast. But, they said this one is a little bit different, Diane, because they're really worried about this flooding and storm surge. And the fact that this storm is moving so slowly, they're concerned that it's just going to sit above New Orleans and just dump rain.
Yeah, very much hoping that this storm spares New Orleans. Elwin Lopez in New Orleans for us. We know you'll be keeping an eye on it for us. Thanks, Elwin. And the U.S. Open wrapped up last night. The tournament looked a little different this year because of the pandemic, but for the winners, I'm sure the victory is still just as sweet. Dominic Thiem won his first ever Grand Slam title after beating Alexander Zverev in the finals, and Dominic joins us now live. Dominic, good morning, and a huge congratulations to you.
Good morning. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
So the moment you got that winning point, we saw you collapse on the court. After so many years of practice, so much hard work, what did that moment feel like to you?
It was such a huge relief in the first moment. I mean, as you said, Was working so hard for many years, dedicated basically the whole life to achieve that big goal one day. And yesterday night I did it after such a big match, after such a drama in the 5th set. So this match had everything, and well, that's why I was falling on the floor.
I think we can all understand that. And there were no fans at the Open this year because of the pandemic. What was it like to play in that environment?
It was a little bit sad. I mean, obviously the fans give so much energy. It's one of the nicest things as an athlete to walk into the stadium and the 20,000 fans welcome you. But I guess that's how it is right now in these difficult times we are facing. And it's still amazing that the tournament was going. And well, I hope that next year's US Open, there are going to be fans again. And that's what we are all wishing for, I guess. And
I'm sure those fans will be excited to cheer you on when they are finally allowed to watch the games in person. But, you know, you talked about some of the drama of all of this. This was the first Open final to be decided by a 5th set tiebreaker. What was going through your mind as the match just kept going?
I was super nervous and tight in the first 2 sets, and then I freed up a little bit, and then in the 5th set I started to cramp. The body felt horrible at one point, and at the end anyway I switched off the brain. I just wanted this title so much, and the belief and the desire was bigger and stronger than my body, I guess, yesterday.
Whatever you did, it clearly worked. But that wasn't the only first. You're also the first Austrian to win the US Open. What does it mean to you to represent your country this way?
I love my country, and it's nice for history books, and it's also nice for Austria. But for me, it's only a statistic. I mean, I'm only super happy that I won this title, and of course also happy if I can make my country a little bit proud, as it gave me so much. And it sounds good that I'm the first Austrian who won this title here in New York.
Well, I'm sure they are proud of you. And again, just a big congratulations to you. And thanks so much for your time this morning. It's great to be able to congratulate you this way.
Thank you.
Have a great one. And from the tennis court to the football field, week 1 of the NFL season is now in the books, and coronavirus precautions and social justice took center stage. The stands were noticeably quiet because of the pandemic. Some stadiums allowed a limited number of fans. Others had no fans at all. The Falcons and the Seahawks both took a knee during the opening kickoff, which was just one of several ways that teams and the NFL in general recognized the movement for racial justice. But Colin Kaepernick is now calling the league out for what he calls propaganda. ABC's Marcus Moore has a look at the NFL's opening weekend.
The NFL back in action on this unprecedented opening weekend. Teams across the league acknowledging the fight for racial equality and social justice. Some linking arms, other players kneeling. Quarterback Cam Newton, Tom Brady's replacement with the New England Patriots, led his team to victory wearing cleats with the words "No Justice, No Peace" and 7 shots, referencing the number of times Jacob Blake was shot. But many are critical of how the league is handling racial injustice and the Black Lives Matter movement after opposing any on-field protesting at all for years. Before kickoff, a number of teams remaining in the locker room during the national anthem, including the Miami Dolphins.
Enough. No more fluff and empty gestures.
Former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick ignited the movement on the field 4 years ago by taking a knee to protest police brutality. Over the weekend, tweeting, while the NFL runs propaganda about how they care about black life, they are still actively blackballing Eric Reid for fighting for the black community. Reid, who knelt alongside Kaepernick when the two were teammates, is currently unsigned after having a great season with the Panthers last year.
Brees flips it.
And Saints quarterback Drew Brees anxious to get back to football after preseason controversy over his comments about the flag following the death of George Floyd. Facing off Sunday against a very familiar name in a not-so-familiar uniform.
And I don't think there's been a more anticipated uniform change maybe in the history of the league.
At 43, Tom Brady becoming the oldest quarterback to throw a touchdown pass in NFL history.
Brady throws, easy touchdown for O.J.
Playing his first game as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, facing off against the New Orleans Saints and 41-year-old Breeze. The two quarterbacks making history as the oldest quarterback matchup in NFL history.
Brady's going to keep and take it in for the touchdown.
The Saints defeating Brady and the Buccaneers.
I think we're all disappointed it didn't go our way, but the only people that can do something about it are the guys in the room. And we got to look at each other in the eye and all work harder, put more urgency on the things we have to do, and get back to work and do a better job.
Diane, what a remarkable moment it was to see Tom Brady in that Buccaneers uniform. He really had to do a double take. It'll be interesting to see what happens the rest of the season. And certainly this was a highly anticipated start, and there has never been a start like this with so much going on. And a lot of the stands at these stadiums will be virtually empty, Diane.
That's for sure. It's one to remember. Marcus Moore in Dallas for us. Thanks, Marcus. And as distance learning and working from home ramps up again, so many families are dealing with connection issues on their home Wi-Fi networks. Becky Worley has some tips on how to get the most out of our signal.
For this California family juggling work and school from home,
It's been kind of a nightmare and super frustrating.
the biggest issue, Wi-Fi.
I'll be talking on a Zoom call, and all of a sudden it'll start to be really fuzzy.
Good news, I can help.
Welcome to my Wi-Fi Fix It clinic.
We go through some known tricks to improve performance, close open applications, turn off high-definition video, and avoid corporate VPNs.
Tejal, when you're on Zoom, are you trying to close all the tabs in your browser and all your other applications?
Never.
I ask her to turn off HD video in Zoom. That's an option that can eat bandwidth. And when it comes to using her corporate network when she's Zooming,
And so we have to go through the VPN for privacy.
so after hearing these limitations, it's time to get geeky.
What I want you to do is go to a website called speedtest.net.
I asked Tejal to test her Wi-Fi speed right next to the router, and then around the house.
Oh, wow. Not even 10.
She's paying for up to a gigabit. That's 1,000 megabits of bandwidth. But in portions of the house, she's only getting 10 megabits. First tip, call her internet provider to upgrade the modem.
How old is the modem that you have?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's only about 2 or 3 years old.
Okay. Even though that seems pretty young, these things have gotten faster.
So when the new modem arrived,
In my office, it was around 20 to 30 with the old modem, and then 60 to 70 with the new modem.
but the speeds in Ava's bedroom are still low. Originally 10 megabits, up to about 60 megabits now. So the next move. Okay, let me try and explain a mesh network. There are a bunch of little boxes that you plug in around the house, and it creates one big network. So after Tejal installs it,
And in Ava's room and in my office, it was so much better.
I'm going to give you the virtual high five. Nice work.
I love Becky's virtual high five. Mesh networks, by the way, are ideal for covering your entire house, but they can run up to $200. So Becky says another option is a Wi-Fi extender, which is much cheaper at around $30. And that does it for this ABC News Live update. I'm Diane Macedo. Thanks for joining us. And remember, ABC News Live is here for you all day with the latest news, context, and analysis. Up next, GMA's top stories. Stay safe, everyone.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.